Hello, welcome to Yoga with Nancy. So glad you could join me. Let's find our seat in a nice sturdy chair. Without arms is best, so a dining room or a kitchen chair, even a folding chair is fine. You want your knees to be the same height as your hips. So if you're sitting in a chair and your hips are higher than your knees, you might want to put a block or a book or a rolled blanket underneath your feet so that that's going to raise your knees a bit. And if you find that your knees are higher than your hips, that happens typically if your chair is low and you're very tall, you might want to sit on a rolled blanket, a nice comfortable blanket folded to make the chair seat a little higher so that your hips come up to the level of your knees. Once you find that comfortable seat, we'll begin with breath awareness as always, then we'll move into asana or movement with our breath, and then we'll move into our relaxation. Today's practice has a bit of a theme of letting go of judgment on how flexible or inflexible our bodies might be, how tight they are. You might find some of my cueing a little confusing if it's your first practice or you're new to the practice. So letting go of frustration if you can, knowing that over time it'll all make sense to you. And the most important thing is to move as best you can to my cueing, to my instructions, never moving towards pain or strain, and accepting what is, letting go of judgment. So find a nice tall spine, let the sternum and the crown of the head float up towards the ceiling as if you're a marionette and there are strings pulling them up. Roll the shoulders up and back and let them glide away from the ears. Draw the navel in towards the spine. Root down through the feet. And the feet should be as wide as the little hip points, these little bony structures in the front of your hips. Closing the eyes or letting the awareness rest softly towards the lap or the floor. Just begin to bring your awareness to your breath. Noticing where you feel the breath most in your own body. And resting your awareness in that place. Could be nostrils, throat, belly, the diaphragm. Just resting your awareness to that particular place where you feel the breath most strongly. And in that awareness, you might recognize that just resting your awareness on your breath creates this expansion. That the breath wants to become deeper, fuller, more satisfying with each breath. More relaxing and softening on each exhale. So the deeper we can bring the breath into the lowest lobes of the lungs, the more we're able to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that part of the autonomic nervous system that is in charge of rest and digest. It helps the blood pressure lower, the heart rate slow, the mind quiet. Moves us out of that fight or flight response that we're in so much these days, triggered by the parasympathetic nervous system, which is a good thing when we need it, but sometimes we get stuck there. So the low lobes of the lungs helps move us out of that state of stress and into that state of relaxation. Resting our awareness on our breath can be a very useful meditation tool. And then letting go of the focus, the anchor of the breath, just letting the body breathe as it does so beautifully. Slowly open your eyes if they were closed. And we'll begin moving our neck, our shoulders, getting rid of tension in all those places. So rest your hands on your lap with the palms down. Roll the shoulders up towards your ears and then back and away from the ears. Spine is nice and long. Chin is tucked ever so slightly back. Take a breath in, and on your exhale, let the chin come down to the chest. Let the shoulders stay moving away from the ears. Feel the stretch through the back of the neck, perhaps the tops of the shoulders. On your inhale, let the chin come through parallel, and then let it move upward. Not so far that you create compression in the back of your neck, enough so you get a little stretch through the front of the throat. And exhale, bring the chin back down to the chest. One more in each direction, inhaling up. And exhaling, bringing the chin back down to the chest. With the chin on the chest, roll the right ear towards the right shoulder. And then gently roll it through center and roll the left ear over to the left shoulder. Slowly letting the head roll from side to side. The next time the head is leaning over to the left, float the left arm up and rest the left hand on the right side of the head. So you're not pulling on your head here. You don't want to pull on your neck, but you're just letting the weight of the hand bring a little more openness into the right side of the neck, across the top of the right shoulder. And then if it suits you, you might take your right hand and reach it out diagonally, turning the palm to face up, and then rolling it around so it faces down again, maybe towards the back of the room. So just rotating the right arm in the right shoulder socket, just exploring how this feels across the top of the shoulder into the shoulder socket. Bringing that right hand back to your lap, removing the left hand, letting it float up towards the ceiling, let the head come back to neutral. On an exhale, bring the chin down to the chest one more time, and then roll the right ear over to the right shoulder. Float the right arm out to the side and then up overhead, bring that right hand to rest on the left side of the head. Again, never pulling, just letting the weight naturally create a little more stretch. Never strain. And then take the left arm, reach it diagonally out. And then play with turning the palm up. And then rotating it forward and down, maybe even turning it towards the back. So bringing it through the range of motion that works for you, letting go of expectation, pausing when you bump up against resistance by the body. So you don't want to force any movement here. We're just noticing where the restrictions are. And then when you're ready, bring that left hand down to your lap. Float the right hand up towards the ceiling. Sweep it out to the side and then bring it down to your lap as you roll the chin back to center. Bring the head back to neutral. Imagining that you have a crayon on the end of your nose, we are going to draw the figure 8 laying down on its side, much like an infinity symbol. So begin to draw that infinity symbol out in front of you, keeping the neck muscles relaxed and soft as best you can, shoulders as well. And letting the circles that you're drawing change shape as it suits your neck, as it would feel good, maybe making the circles large and fat, or maybe making them skinny and long, or a combination of all of them. Just mix it up. Pausing with your nose in the center, remembering what direction you were drawing those infinity symbols, start to draw them in the opposite direction, and again mixing up the size of the circles. You might even find it feels good to roll back and forth in one particular spot, and that's absolutely fine. Coming back to neutral, chin is parallel to the ground, we're going to draw the figure 8 standing up, just like it should be standing up. So again, you can change the color on the end of your nose if you like. Keep softening the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the spine nice and long and the neck relaxed. Mixing up the size of the circles, fat or skinny, short or long. And then finding a natural place to switch directions, draw those figure 8s in the opposite direction. Coming to neutral with the chin parallel to the ground. Bring the arms out to the sides like wings, palms are facing up, then bend at the elbow and cup your shoulders. We're going to move the elbows up and down like a little slow motion baby bird here. So the hands cup the shoulders, the elbows will turn up towards the ceiling, the back of the hands might touch behind your neck or your head. And on the exhale, the elbows will reach out to the sides and then down towards the floor. The upper arms will be against the ribs. Inhaling, reversing that direction, so the elbows now come up. Backs of the hands may touch behind your head. And then bringing the elbows out to the sides and down towards the floor. As you do this, see if you can keep the front body open, keep the elbows slightly drawn back, so you're working the muscles around the shoulder blades as you flap these little wings slowly up and down. Bringing the elbows to neutral again. Hands are still cupping the shoulders. Sit nice and tall. We're going to come into a twist. So we're going to flow in this twist from side to side. Let the spine get nice and long on your inhale. On your exhale, turn to the right. So as if you have a pole going from elbow to elbow. Elbows are in a nice straight line through the back body. Inhale, come to center, and exhale, move in the opposite direction. So the elbows are pointing out from each other. Inhaling to center, exhaling, taking a twist, and moving gently from side to side. So you'll notice where the body says stop, where you've reached the limit of your range of motion, and that's okay. We're letting go today. We're just letting it happen. Observing it, being okay with it, and freely and lovingly just moving back and forth. Accepting what is. Coming back to center, rest your hands on your lap, palms up this time. Inhale, shrug up. And exhale, sigh it out. Let the shoulders relax down. Inhale, shrug up. And exhale, relax. Nice. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful job. So we're going to move into the hips here. Bring your feet as wide as the legs of your chair. Bring your hands onto your thighs. We're going to begin to make big circles with the torso. So take a nice breath in. On your exhale, lean forward. And then bring yourself out to the side on the left, back towards the back of the chair without touching it, and then over to the right. So we're making these big counterclockwise circles with the torso. Rooting down through the legs for stability, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, also for stability. Bringing this movement into the hip joints here. Next time you're leaning forward, pause, and reverse, go clockwise. As we draw the navel into the spine, we're engaging our core muscles, our abdominals, and this is really good work for all of the core muscles that wrap around the ribs and the spine. And then come to neutral. Nice. Walk your feet so that your knees are in front of your hips. We're going to do a little a rainbow move. It's a form of a flowing twist as well. So take your right arm, reach it forward right out in front of you, and take the back of the hand to the outside of the left knee. So you're reaching diagonally across your body. And then we're going to turn the palm down. No, I'm sorry, we're going to keep the palm up and sweep the arm in front of us and then sweep it behind us. So we're going to come into a little twist as the right arm reaches behind us. Palm is facing up. We might turn the chin and the gaze towards that hand. And then we're going to float that right arm up towards the ceiling and then back down to the outside of that left leg. Inhaling, we're going to sweep up. The back of the hand is towards the ceiling. Fingers will reach up to the ceiling, and then we're going to, like a little rainbow over our head, reach that arm to the back wall. We're in a little bit of a twist, looking back towards our right hand. Inhale, sweep the arm up. Torso will rotate towards center, and this time the palm will come down facing that left knee. Inhale, up and back, a little flowing twist here. Gaze follows the hands if your neck will support that. Hand reaches up towards the ceiling and then back to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, come back to center, and we'll do the other side. So take the left hand, palm facing the right thigh, as close to the knee as you can, still keeping the spine long. And on your inhale, we're going to sweep that arm up towards the ceiling like a rainbow over our head. Reach it behind us as far back as we can. Let the gaze follow. We're in a little bit of a twist here. Inhale up towards the ceiling and then back down so our palm is on the outside of the right thigh. Inhale, sweep it up and over. Around behind us as we gaze at the hand, up and over. One more time, sweeping that arm up and back. And then sweeping it up, bringing the hand back down to the lap. Take a nice breath in, shrug up, and exhale, sigh it out. Beautiful job. Press your right foot into the ground. Really support yourself with that right leg. And hug your left leg up into your chest. So you can hold on to the front of the shin or the back of the thigh, whatever would work. We want to keep tall here. And we're going to point and flex the left foot. So as you point that foot, if it's possible, if you have bare feet, this is a really nice stretch for the top of the foot. As you point the foot, curl the toes. And then flex the foot. So the toes will point up. Spread the toes. Get a nice stretch through the sole of the foot. And then point and curl the toes. And flex and spread the toes. And come to neutral. Just let the foot hang nice and gently here. Begin to make big circles in one direction. You might feel or hear some crackling and popping. That's your ankle saying, thank you for moving me. And then bring those circles in the opposite direction. Keep the spine tall so you're still using those core muscles as best you can. Always working those core muscles as we sit nice and tall in these movements. Bring that left foot down to the ground and then bring that right leg up in towards your chest. Again, you can hold on to the shin or underneath the thigh. You decide what feels best for you. Point and curl the toes. Flex and spread the toes. Really get into the stretch on the top of the foot as you point and the stretch on the bottom of the foot as you flex. And then begin to make circles in one direction with that foot, with that ankle. Just knowing that those little cracks and pops are good things. The more we move our joints, the more circulation of synovial fluid we bring into those joints, reverse direction. And then lower that foot down to the ground. Let's bring this joint work into our wrists and our hands, our finger joints. So bring your arms out in front of you. Palms are facing down. Spread your fingers super, super wide. Wiggle the fingers. wiggle every joint in every finger. So just take the time to bend every joint in your hand as consciously as you can, one at a time, starting with the pinky, ring finger, middle finger, pointer, thumb. And then speed it up, just kind of almost as if you're, I don't know, maybe it might be like playing a harp or playing the piano. You're just letting each of the joints of the fingers move in a nice, fluid, smooth way. And then shake your hands. Let everything relax as you shake out the fingers. Nice. Then bring your forearms together, elbows to wrists, and interlace your fingers. Begin to make figure eights with your wrists, keeping your forearms together as best you can. So we're lubricating our wrists here. Reverse direction when you're ready. And then bring your hands, reach them forward. Fingers are together, palms are facing down. Take your fingers and point them down towards the ground so your palms are facing you. And then windshield wipe your fingers. So it might be opposite, they're moving opposite. I don't know, I think that's a British car when they go in opposite directions, or they could be going in the same direction, just windshield wiping, getting some work into the wrists and the forearms here. Pausing, pointing the fingers forward, palms are facing down, and then let the palms face away from you so the fingertips are pointing up towards the ceiling, and windshield wipe here. So we're just as if we're the queen, just waving in the parade or the carriage, from the carriage to the crowds, the throngs of admirers. And then shake those hands out once again. Nice. Moving to the feet and the toes, we're going to lean forward over our thighs. So just bring your forearms to your thighs. You can maybe interlace your fingers between your thighs. Look down at your toes. Maybe walk your feet back ever so slightly. And we're going to rock up onto the ball of the foot. Really lift those heels so you get into the base knuckle of those toes. And then roll back onto the heel, lift the ball of the foot, maybe wiggle the toes. And we're simply going to rock back and forth, getting into the base of those toes as we lift the heels, really getting up into that area at the base of the toes. And then coming onto our heels, lifting our foot, maybe spreading our toes. So just rolling back and forth. We're also, when we do this, working the calf muscles. Our calf muscles, by the way, are the pumps that pump the blood from our feet and our legs back up to our heart. So we want to keep those nice and healthy. And then pausing and stamping. So stamp your feet. Got those muscles working. Now we want to help them by stamping the feet. You can make as much noise as you want. Great. And coming to stillness, we'll do 2 rounds of sun salutations before we move into Shavasana today. So the feet can be as wide as the legs of the chair, somewhere between there and in line with your hips. So you decide what feels best and most stable for you. Bring your arms down by your side, sit nice and tall, draw the belly in, roll the shoulders up and back, and let them glide away from your ears. Arms are down by your sides, palms facing in. On an inhale, turn the palms outward, float the arms out to the side walls and up overhead, press the palms together. And on the exhale, come to cactus arms. On your inhale, lean slightly forward. And on your exhale, glide the hands down your thighs, over your knees, and down to your ankles. So if this is comfortable for you, see if you feel okay turning your head down. If you get lightheaded or dizzy, keep your head looking forward with a nice long spine. But if you can let the head relax down, go ahead and do that. On your inhale, come to your fingertips, lift and lengthen your spine. So your sitting bones are reaching in the opposite direction of your heart and your sternum. On your exhale, fold back down. And on your inhale, you have options to come up. Hands can come to the thighs and you can press up. Keep the spine long. Or root down through the legs, sweep the arms out to the sides and up overhead as the torso lifts to vertical. Arms come overhead and palms pressed together. Exhale the hands to the heart. Release the palms, bring the hands down by your sides. We'll do one more round. Inhale, turn the palms outward, float the arms out to the sides and up overhead. And exhale the hands to cactus. Inhale, lean forward, and exhale, hands to the thighs, over to the knees, over the knees, and down to the ankles. Head points down if that suits you. Inhale, lift and lengthen the spine so the sitting bones and the heart reach in opposite direction. Exhale, fold back down, and on your inhale, press into your thighs. Keep the spine long as you lift up, or bring your arms out to the sides. Use those core muscles. Float the arms out and up overhead. Press the palms together. Exhale the hands to the heart. Closing the eyes and pressing the thumbs into the sternum, the palms and the fingers into each other. Beautiful, beautiful job. You might even notice a shift or a change in sense of spaciousness, openness, warmth of the body, or pace of the heart. So it's time to let all that good work digest, letting go of the practice. So with effort, or as little effort as possible, scooch forward in your chair, let your back lean against the chair, find a nice comfortable place for your arms, and extend your legs. If you are one who practices Shavasana lying on the floor, and you can get there safely up and down, then go ahead and find that nice comfortable place for yourself there. Once you find that just right place, close your eyes or let your gaze be soft towards your lap. Allow the body to become heavy. Letting go of the practice, letting go of any judgment you might have on your ability or inability to do one thing or another. And I have a poem here from Donna Falls from her book, From Root to Bloom, and it's called Ready to Let Go. It isn't really difficult, this bridging of the realms. It takes no special agility, no training in firewalking or turning cartwheels on a tightrope, just a blend of will and surrender. When I open to the source of wonder, I let go of the trapeze to soar weightless and amazed. I calculate without thinking and grab the next trapeze bar on the fly. Will and surrender are not adversaries, but two ends of one broad arc that fills the circus tent with life. There can be no show unless the acrobat is ready to let go. So you might explore as you rest in Shavasana what you might be able to let go of. A fear, doubt, self-judgment. Being ready to let go with carefree abandon. Grabbing for the next trapeze bar on the fly. With a sense of lightness. Resting in that sense for as long as you wish. Stopping only when you're ready to go about your day. Perhaps bringing a nice full body stretch at the end of the practice, bringing your hands to your heart. Until next time, namaste.